Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that tonight you're going to witness some things that you never thought possible.
Mm-hmm. Like what?
I don't know.
What would we witness?
I just kind of wanted to say that.
Really trying to build up the whole
I'm trying to
vibe of the episode.
I'm trying to bring people to the 10-year anniversary episode and then leave them wanting more. Because they're going to end there like, well, wait, he promised us, like, stuff we've never seen before. So then they're going to come back because they're going to be like, oh, maybe it's a future episode. And then they're going to come back, and they're going to come back, and they're going to come back. And eventually they're going to be like, well, this is bullshit. And then they're going to leave. Everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. As always, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. Hey, Kyle, how are you, buddy?
Doing all right. How are you?
Doing well. Happy Thanksgiving.
We're right there. We're
I know.
Just a couple days away.
We're less than 48 hours away from Thanksgiving. A great holiday full of food, football, friends, family, all the F words, all the good F words. Anyway, nailed it. Yeah. We're off to a fire start. There's another F word. Hey. Yeah. But anyway, again, to all of you out there, very early happy Thanksgiving to all you and your friends and your family and your dog. I don't know. Whoever you're celebrating Thanksgiving with. We hope it's a good one. But tonight's episode is a really special one for On a Couch Talking Sports. I'm going to tell you why in just a second. But first, I'm going to tell you about our two sponsors, Zyman Organizing and Wes Woodson. They have always been with us, not from the very beginning, but for a long while now. And they're also with Screen Time with Doug and Kyle, Sports Blitz with Doug and myself. They're just great entities, and we always appreciate them being our sponsors, and their links will be in the description. Now, to get back to why this episode is so special and so important to us, last week, On a Couch Talking Sports reached a humongous milestone, and that is not that Thanksgiving is coming. That's a different milestone. But no, it was that speaking, and it was kind of funny because I think we kind of talked about like one of the first couple episodes, Thanksgiving football with our buddy Craig. So it's kind of...
We did. That's right.
But anyway, It was our 10-year anniversary of starting On a Couch Talking Sports. Yes, 10 years ago, last week, we launched our very first episode of this show, and we are still going strong after 10 years, which is just mind-boggling to me. Just the fact that, like, back in 2013, if you told me that we would be still doing this show 10 years later, I would have told you, first thought you were crazy. The second I would have told myself, it's like, Robbie, get a life. Go do something, Stop just sitting on a couch with Kyle and talking about random sports and just everything. But no, it's been a lot of fun to make this show over the last 10 years. It's been a great run, and I think what we wanted to do tonight is just kind of sit here and on this couch and reminisce, which has been, by the way, a piece of this show for quite a number of years now, and just reminisce about where we've been, where we're going, just how we got here, all that good stuff.
Some of my favorite episodes too. We can talk about if you guys, if there's anything that you guys really enjoy too.
Really just sort of sit down and just really just think back to what the last 10 years has meant in terms of On a Couch and just how we've sort of grown and sort of, transformed as people over that last 10 years. We've, experienced a lot in those 10 years. In some aspects, we're still the same people. In others, we've grown and we've changed and we've, had, like I said, many different new experiences and all that good stuff. But, Kyle, I guess to start out, I just want to ask you, like, when you think about just the fact that it's been 10 years since we started this show, and you think back to November 2013 till, now, basically November 2023, just, I guess just in general, what sort of comes to mind for you when you really think about the course of the show over the last 10 years?
Well, when we started, I think we got a little bit of inspiration from our buddy Craig and
yes,
from his show. Now, mind you,
not his show.
Oh, that's right.
No,
so
it's not
technically
his show.
not his show. I guess however you want to go about that.
That joke will never get old.
Yeah, right. But because it was funny because their show is more of a kind of a comedy sketch show, if you will, with a kind of a nice kind of a hint of wrestling, to kind of spice things up. And
yeah.
We took a bit of a different approach where we just kind of wanted to make it more, I feel like, of a kind of like a semi-traditional sports podcast, if you will. But I think from there, it honestly really grew kind of to something that we didn't exactly expect, and I'm not saying in a bad way or anything.
Yeah.
Like it's like it's kind of like it kind of took on its own form where we kind of went past the sports a bit. We still talk about sports. Sports is still like a big aspect of the show, but like I feel like we became very versatile on a lot of the subjects that we tackle. Like, I mean, we even at one point did a Family Guy episode where we just kind of
I know, yeah. We did we literally did a whole episode about what characters we would have play the Family Guy characters in a live action Family Guy. Like it, that's just the way we are. We go for what's in our mind, and we don't apologize for it. We have a good time talking about whatever. I mean, literally, we have a whole segment on the show where Kyle just reviews random stuff that have nothing to do at all with sports, and it's
well, that was a funny thing too, like, because it started with like I was trying to find like more sports related like video games and movies to kind of talk about and review, but the truth of the matter is I don't really watch on a regular basis, at least, a lot of sports movies, and I don't really play a lot of sports video games, so it just kind of became its own thing. So
it's great, and it's become one of the staples of this show, and I think that is awesome. But also, when I think about it, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, because also, what I liked about yours really quick was, because Robbie, I like how Robbie always kind of switches the segments up a bit, so it's never like, for a certain period of time it'll be like one segment, and like how Robbie will kind of go over like your football like recap kind of thing, but then also you do your own like final thought, and those are always really interesting to me. I always like to hear kind of what you bring up and what you say.
Remember when we started, like, we did like monologues, like literally we for a while, like, to start we did our monologues, and then it kind of like transformed into like sort of us doing our each sort of different end segments. So it definitely has kind of like I said, the show has grown and evolved over the years. I think my favorite shows that we've done, I mean, listen, I've loved every show pretty much that we've done, but some of my favorite shows have been ones where we're actually not even on a couch.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where we've gone out, like, on a walk talking sports, where we've been out of sporting event. We literally did a whole episode. We literally recorded a whole episode at a Bentley hockey game.
That was pretty awesome.
That was epic. We recorded a whole episode walking from one end of Wellesley to the other. I mean, we've had so many different iterations of the show, so many different like scene backgrounds of the show. I mean, obviously for a year or two there with COVID and stuff like that, obviously practicing being safe and all that stuff like that. We were on Zoom for a while for episodes, and then we were in a car for a few episodes. We literally spent our first episode of 2021 in my basement, sitting on chairs.
Oh yeah, like we had the social distancing
talking about sports in masks. Like we've gone with what we feel right doing. Like we've just gone with what we feel like. We've gone with where our inspiration takes us.
Yeah.
like for every single episode. And sometimes we kind of repeat different like episode themes because sometimes we don't necessarily have like a lot of like truly original thoughts. But it's okay. I mean, we've had some great on a couch like 20 questions episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've even just done some episodes where we just simply do our two final segments, and that's the episode.
Yeah, kind of short and sweet.
Yeah, but it works.
Yeah.
It works because like no matter what, like it's a show. It's our show. It's like it's we do it on our terms. I guess what I'm trying to say, and we've had some really kick-ass guests.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Yeah, like
Yeah.
just throughout the years, like man, like just whether and it's funny how we kind of like approach the whole guest thing too, where in earlier we would invite people to actually sit on the couch, like Doug, Craig,
Yeah.
even our buddy Scott. Actually,
We literally had
a couple different Scotts.
Yeah, I was
Actually.
gonna say we literally had Scott and Craig both on a couch at the same time. I think
that was
I think
awesome.
the episode we were in like two different couches in a chair.
Yeah.
Talking sports. So
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And we even had like actually people. I remember we had them call in. There were certain episodes like our buddy Sean and I think our buddy
Scott,
Matt
well,
too.
Scott, but also Scott called in for one. I think Scott called in for one episode as well.
Oh, I think I think you're right.
He
you're
called
right,
in for an episode and did the one with Craig. But yeah, we had Matt.
Yep.
Matt, our good buddy Matt. We had Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just had so many, and obviously with during the pandemic, with Zoom, we were still gonna have like Doug and Scott. We were, it definitely helped. Jerome, and we can't forget about Jerome.
Oh my God, dude! Like recently, especially we've and we even had actually Jerome. This is one of my personal favorite episodes. Was when the three of us went mini golfing.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was incredible.
That's something. Yeah, that was just an episode that like was just fantastic.
It was amazing. Like it just like Jerome like brought so much electricity to like his like guest spot when we did one time, I think one of our Zoom episodes, and also just like when we had our mini golf tournament. That's why I actually kept it in the intro, just because I always like that's always one of my favorites.
One of the funniest moments was when I don't even think Jerome was supposed to be on an episode, but we were doing one in a car from Davis Square, the Davis Square parking lot, and Jerome showed up in the car, just hopped in the backseat, just stayed on for like the back end of an episode.
Feeling like a surprise guest at that point. That was great.
That was fantastic. My sister Sarah, also great
awesome
guest. She was actually on our I think our 100th episode. We did our Facebook. That's another thing. We did we did a whole episode on Facebook Live.
Oh, we did. Oh yeah, we did try the streaming. I think at least a few times.
We recorded it. For that one, we literally were recording like this, but we were also on Facebook Live, and we were like literally live answering questions on the show. We actually did some like post-show like Facebook Lives as well, which I thought was pretty wild.
That was pretty fun,
yeah. I mean, we've had a lot of great people. A lot of people, we've had some people also, have sort of come in and out of our lives over the years. I mean, listen, I can be honest about things. We had, at the time, who was my girlfriend now, my ex-girlfriend Maddie, on an episode, and it was very nice. We've just had a lot of fun moments like on this show, with guests, without guests. Like, I still remember there was one moment that just popped into mind when I'm thinking about like sort of funny guest moments and stuff like that, and it was an episode Craig was on, and I remember it was an episode that we did a year old. I mean, technically, it's not. You're the Norwood House. We did it from the Norwood House because we were talking about umpiring, because Craig and I are both baseball umpires.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And right in the middle of the episode, some guy just like goes by the window, just like yelling or something like that. And we just all are like, "What just happened?" Like,
I remember that. We were just like frozen. We were like, "What the hell
just happened there?" But it was just classic this show. Like that's just what we do. That's just how we are. And yeah, I mean, we've just had so many great moments, over the last 10 years. I mean, we've just, like I said, it's just been a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It's been a lot of fun, and I think that's the thing about it, is we don't take ourselves too seriously. Like, we're not professional podcasters. We're not professional YouTube hosts. You know, we don't do this for money or millions and millions of views like some people do out there. We're lucky if we get maybe 5 views an episode at this point in time. By the way, thank you to those of you who do watch.
Thanks, guys.
But you know what? We enjoy it. We enjoy getting together because we're hanging out anyway. You know, we enjoy getting together. We enjoy getting together and making an episode and just having fun as two good friends, just having fun, you know, talking to you guys on a couch on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's the important thing. It's like, you know, we're not trying to be professionals here. We're not trying to be, you know, the next like viral sensation. we just want to have a good time. We do this because we love doing it, and you know, we wouldn't do it if we didn't enjoy doing it, and we truly do. Even after 10 years, I still every time we get together, I still, you know, enjoy the prospect of making an episode and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
it's like you look forward to it, like especially when whether it's us two or us with a guest or any combination of that.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just a great social event too. You just catch up with how everyone's doing in life, and
That's right.
we always try to keep it light and fun. We're not on like a strict like, oh, we have to talk about this exact thing, and you know, we do have topics that we talk about, but then you know, there's times where we just go off the rails, and you know, we just talk about other things, and it makes it that much more fun and unpredictable, but in like a good way. It just kind of really adds a lot, I feel like, to episodes where we kind of in our head we're like, okay, this looks pretty fun to talk about. And then when we have those extra conversations, those extra moments that happen during the episodes, whether we're on the couch or whether we're walking or anything like that, it just really adds the extra kind of like, it just adds to it. So
exactly. And I mean, even like some of my favorite episodes have been like the Cape episodes, you know.
Oh yeah, those are fun.
Going down to Cape Cod and, you know, either bowling or mini golfing or seeing a game or whatever, you know, and just talking, being able to talk about it and sort of in that moment relive, you know, the fun that we already had. You know, we were talking off air, you know, we just had a great trip to Portland a couple weeks ago, and then we got to come on like the last episode and talk about that. We were able to like relive it and stuff like that. It was fantastic. I mean, it was just a great stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's just, there's been, like I said, there's just been so much fun that has been had on this show. It's like I said, I anytime we get a chance to do it, I look forward to it. And the last thing I wanted to say, I was trying to think for a minute there because there was something else that I wanted to mention, but I remembered it now, is this show is kind of in a way led into other projects and other shows and stuff like that, like Screen Time, or formerly known as Marvel at the Movies with Doug and Kyle. I mean, that's how Doug and Kyle first met, was when Doug came on this show.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good point. I forgot about that we actually did meet through one of the episodes.
Yeah, literally Doug's first guest appearance was the first time that Kyle and Doug had ever met. And they became like fast friends and now literally host a show together. I mean, and Doug and I obviously, you know, do the sports splits as well. But it's just like the fact that like we built connections, you know, we formed connections, and I just think that is something. Like when a couple times we've been to those Wellesley Norwood football games, you know, down the street from your Norwood house, like again,
so cool,
just great moments in the history of this show. I mean, we could go on for hours about this. We won't. We promise we're not going to go. Not going to turn into like a 5-hour episode, but like, there's just, it all comes down to just great moments. I mean, there are so many of them, and we just have such enjoyed having you guys along for the ride here over these last 10 years, and just enjoyed, you know, making content that for years and years to come we're going to be able to look back on and be proud of. And it's, I mean, that's kind of where I think we're all close for myself is just, thank you to you, those of you at home, whether you've been watching since all the way back in 2013 or whether or not you're just finding us right now. Being able to come on and talk to you guys is a joy. We're not going anywhere. I felt like for a moment there I was like doing like a retirement speech. No, we're not going anywhere. No, it is a joy, and again, I know we don't get that many views, but it doesn't matter. For us, it's all about the journey and just having fun, and that's what we've been doing for the last 10 years, and that's what we're gonna keep doing for as long as we can. I don't think I can't guarantee we're gonna be here another whole 10 years, but but we at least got at least a couple more in the tank. I'd like to say so. Kyle, any sort of last thoughts, reflections, opinions, sort of about the last 10 years of the show?
I mean, no, I think you said it. I think we both had talked about everything. If there's any episodes that really stood out to you guys that you guys really enjoyed, or if you'd like, if there's anything that you kind of want us to kind of go back to, maybe like add more to, maybe. So feel free, just let us know. Just throw it in the comments or on Facebook or wherever you guys find us. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of sort of stalwarts of the show, we are now going to move on to the sort of end portion of our show, our final couple of segments here with, Robbie's football recap and the Sue's reviews. I guess I'll go first because mine's kind of quick. This week, fantasy football actually went 2-0 this week. I was very happy about that.
That's good.
Because I had a tough couple of weeks in fantasy. I think I lost 2 games in a row in both my leagues. So to be able to sort of bounce back in both and get a couple dubs was very, very much needed, very welcome. So very happy about that. On the favorite team side, Wellesley did not have a game this past week because they are getting ready for the epicness that is the Thanksgiving showdown with Needham, 136th installment of the Wellesley Needham game, which will be coming up on Thursday morning in Wellesley, as Wellesley looks to make it 5 in a row against the Needham Rockets. So can't wait for that one, hoping for a 5th straight victory for the Raiders in that. College-wise, BC unfortunately lost last week, losing to Pittsburgh. So they're now 6-5. They will play their final regular season game this coming Friday when they host Miami. And the Patriots had a bye week, so they could not lose this week. The Patriots did not lose this week because they're on a bye week. But they will be back in action this coming Sunday against the New York Giants. So that is it for the Robbie's football recap. So
very cool.
I wanted to turn the wheel over here to Kyle to give us another, what I'm sure will be very rousing, very educational, very informational Sue's reviews.
So, speaking of reminiscing, we were talking about how this is a whole, we've been doing the past 10 years. And, I want to talk about a game that has been very prevalent to just my childhood. So we're talking a few decades ago. And I had recently had the privilege to play the remake of it. And they just came out with it actually just the other week. And it's none other than Super Mario RPG, which originally came out for the Super Nintendo. Now, that was one of my favorite systems. That probably is actually still my favorite system of all time. I grew up with it. I played so many games on it. And Mario RPG was probably my favorite game on that system, it's the perfect kind of RPG, kind of like a role-playing game in the style of Final Fantasy. It was actually even made by the creators of Final Fantasy, who were called Squaresoft at the time, but then later on turned into Square Enix. And it's essentially literally it's essentially a Final Fantasy game, not quite as difficult, definitely a little on the easier side, but with Mario characters. So essentially you're controlling Mario, and he he teams up with a bunch of other teammates who I'm not going to spoil too much. It's actually a very interesting kind of story. He ends up actually going to save Peach, who gets kidnapped by Bowser once again. And but then right as he thinks he defeats Bowser, it just seems like kind of like the beginning of any old Mario game essentially. But what happens is a sword comes crashing through Bowser's castle. So and you find out that Bowser is actually, this is not a Bowser plot. This is actually a whole nother kind of entity going on. So throughout the game, you figure out what happened to Bowser, what happened to Peach, and why is there a giant sword in the castle? Like, what's going on with all that? And it really does become like an RPG, but it does retain the Mario kind of like quality, the Mario style, because you can run around and jump. There's a lot of platforming in this RPG. So in Final Fantasy, there was none of that. We didn't get any of that in Final Fantasy, and those other games, and or Dragon Quest or anything like that. But in this game, no, you actually do platform. You hop from different spots and you hit floating blocks like in the or floating chests and blocks and stuff like that like in the old other Mario games. But when you attack enemies, you don't just stomp on them. You actually, there's a whole battle system. It's a turn-based battle game, and it's a really wonderful system. And the remake, I think, does a really great job at kind of retaining what made the original so great, but it adds some new flair to it. So it does actually kind of add like just some couple new sort of things to the battle, like a whole meter and everything that once it like gets to 100%, like as you're fighting the enemies, then you get to just do a really cool special moves that will defeat all the enemies, which is really sick. And the graphics are great, and and honestly the menu system is pretty easy to navigate. I think the aesthetic looks not quite as good as the Super Nintendo version, but the new version does just fine, and kind of more accessibility. So there's just a lot of like really cool, just sort of like if you've played the original Super Nintendo, you know how this game works. You pretty much know what to expect. They kept things very faithful to the original Super Nintendo. So if you were a fan of that, then you'll know what to expect here. It's a little easier in certain ways, but also a little harder because they do actually add a slight challenge in battles, in turn-based battles. Every now and then you'll find like a special enemy who's actually stronger than ones you normally encounter. So it actually takes more hits to take them down. There's a whole like coin currency in the game that's like your money, like in every other Mario game. You get to use them to go to the shop to buy armor and new weapons and stuff like that to outfit the characters, like an RPG. So like Mario gets hammers instead of swords, like they do in Final Fantasy, and characters unlock a lot of different moves and spells and stuff like that. It's really cool. It really is like the perfect blend of like Mario and RPG, and to me it's always been my favorite. But I'll have to talk more about some of the other Mario RPGs, because it did actually spawn two separate series, the Mario and Luigi series on the handheld systems, and the Paper Mario on handheld and in the big systems. But that's a whole nother, we're going to do a whole retrospective at some point about all those other games. But it did spawn essentially two sort of branching series there that, if you will, that became really successful. So I'm glad that Nintendo came back and they just were like, what, let's just get the one that started it all. We're gonna throw it on the Switch, and bam, people can play it, and it's great. And the other cool thing about it, before I end this review, is that they keep actually the old music, so you can actually choose whether to listen to. Like the soundtrack is incredibly sprawling, and even for Super Nintendo it sounded great, but you can actually choose between the Super Nintendo soundtrack or the updated soundtrack that they did for the Switch, so you actually hear more instruments, and both are great options. So I like kind of switching back and forth to kind of compare the different themes and whatnot. But it's a really great game. I'll probably have a more complete review once I finish the game. I'm about halfway through the game, so this is kind of more of a so far review, to see how I like it. But so far, I freaking love it. It's great. So I think I'm probably gonna feel the same way as soon as I'm done with this game. So There we go.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad it's so far so good in terms of that. So thank you as always for that, Kyle. And again, thank you to all of you at home for watching. Again, whether this is your first episode or you've been with us all 10 years, we're so appreciative of everybody out there, who's been with us during this wild ride, and we can't wait to make more fun stuff for you guys from the couch or wherever our episodes take us coming up here. So, again, just simply put, to finish things off, in the season of thanks, this week of thanks, thank you to all of you. So, that's going to wrap up this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Want to thank our sponsors, Zyman Organizing, Wes Woodson. Again, just really appreciate their support, whether it be this show, Sports Blitz, Screen Time. Definitely just appreciate them a ton. If you want to find us, obviously we're here on YouTube, but you can also find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. I mean, please don't find us in real life. But anyway, it has been great doing another episode and just great doing these last 10 years of episodes, and can't wait for what's to come. So, once again, and also happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know I said that before, but again, it bears repeating. Happy Thanksgiving, and whatever your day brings, I hope it's full of food, family, all the good stuff. So,
and if you're playing a football Thanksgiving game, good luck.
Yes.
Or doing a Thanksgiving run, good luck as well.
Yes. What he said. But anyway, that wraps it up for this edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. He's Kyle. I'm Robbie. And we'll see you next time on a couch to talk sports and a lot more. Bye, everybody. Nice. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of On a Couch Talking Sports. Yes, I am Robbie. This is Kyle. How's it going, buddy?
It's going. Yeah, I'm doing great. How are you?
It's going. Good, yeah. Hey, happy Thanksgiving. I know it's coming up 2 days from now, but happy Thanksgiving.
Dude, I'm so excited for Thanksgiving. Getting all the food in and just
one of my favorite holidays. Awesome. One of my favorite holidays. Football, turkey. Actually, I'm not a big fan of turkey, but anyway, football.
I think that's you and a lot of people.
The side, football, all the sides besides turkey, just all family, friends, just all the good stuff. So we're definitely looking forward to it. But Thanksgiving aside, Kyle. Sorry, I got to restart because I kind of flubbed that opening a little bit.
How dare you?
I know, I'm sorry. All right, sorry. Take two.
Go God.
We're
definitely gonna add that at the end.
Yes.
That's gonna be the end.
Here we go. Ready? In 5, 4, 3, 2.